Okay, I'm just setting up the live stream. It won't be long. I think we're more or less there. So this evening we are going to do a flight in the Inibuilds Airbus A321 from Detroit over to Buffalo Niagara. It's not a very long flight at all, but I'm using this as an opportunity to show you both the Inibuilds versions of Detroit and Buffalo Niagara. We'll also use SayIntentions for ATC along the way. And obviously we're going to look at the Inibuilds A321 that comes with Flight Simulator. So it should be fairly interesting. We're in the drone camera at the moment, hovering over the top of Detroit International Airport. So we can see this on the map. We'll also go and open Navigraph while we're at it before I forget. So we've got it available to us during the flight. So I'll just unload the current flight plan. We'll import from SimBrief. I've filed the flight with SimBrief, so you can see there we go. There's the details of our flight. We'll be coming in ILS. I thought we were coming in 3-2. Fine, I'll add to route. Yep, there we go. So I'll just go and get rid of the VFR map. We're not really interested in seeing that today. So you can see there's our basic routing from downtown Detroit. So we've got the Detroit International Airport down here. Or Detroit Metro Wayne County is its full name. So we're flying from Detroit Metro over to Buffalo Niagara, which means we'll be crossing through international airspaces along the way, so that's going to make it a little bit more interesting. Oh my word, my dad's turned up in the live stream. And I'm flying with the live weather, so that's going to make it super interesting as well. So before we get started, I thought we'd should we go and ask on the intercom? I've got the mentor, or not the mentor, sorry, the tour guide on the intercom. So we'll ask it about Detroit Metro Airport. What can you tell us about Detroit Metro Airport?
Detroit Metro Airport, also known as DTW, opened in 1930 and has grown to become one of the busiest airports in the United States. It serves as a major hub for Delta Airlines and is known for its unique design, which includes the iconic McNamara Terminal, featuring a stunning, light-filled atrium. The airport has a rich aviation history, having been a key player during World War II for military transport. Fun fact, the airport was originally named Wayne County Airport, but was renamed in 1947 to honor the city of Detroit. It also boasts a variety of art installations and exhibits, making it more than just a transit point for travelers.
There we go. Learn something new every day, don't you? So we've got the car parks this end of the airport. It's stuttering a little bit, but I'm not surprised because this is such a high density piece of scenery. And I've got the drone camera turned up quite fast, so we're able to move quite quickly. You can see all of the gates are all modelled. The freeway is modelled alongside the airport. So if we carry on down, you can see all of the lighting gantries and the paintwork everywhere is absolutely perfect. So all the taxiways and all the markings and the signage is all where it should be. And we're going to come down now to the main terminal in the middle of the airfield. I think there's another one the other side. We'll have a look at both. I think it's always interesting. This is the Inibuilds version of Detroit, by the way. I've put a link in the notes of the video. So if you like the look of this, you can go and have a look at it for yourself. So apparently these people are levitating. There's a bit of a bug there. In fact, there's a lot of chairs missing, aren't there? That's interesting. I wonder if that's this copy of it or there's something else going on. Oh no, the seats are loading in. I think that was just a simulator playing funny games with us. So the seats are loading in slowly. It was just lagging behind us a little bit. So what sort of quality are the people? They're actually very good, aren't they? It always amazes me when I look at these high fidelity airports and the level of modelling that goes into them. It's crazy, isn't it? So as you can see, this terminal stretches on and on and on. If we speed up a bit as we come down here, no wonder they've got some travelators in the middle of the floors, because yeah, it's just absolutely huge. Let's have a look at some of the gates and see what's parked out here. So there's a 777 over there by the look of it. So we'll carry on down. This is a long building, isn't it? Look at all the cantilevers to hold the roof up. There's an A340 over there to our right. If we can get a peek at it, if we come past this terminal and swing round to the right. Or not terminal, sorry, gate. Gate A46, there he is, look. A340. So, earlier on, when I was coming along here, I saw a moving monorail. This is a monorail, by the way. Well, not a monorail, but an electric tram of some kind. I wonder if we go this way, if we'll see it. Let's go and speed up. I'm not sure where it will be along its run. Going full speed ahead down the terminal to go find it. Here we go. Yeah, it's about to come by, look. How cool is that? So obviously with such a long building, this is to shuttle you from one end of the terminal to the other. So yeah, in the live stream comments, look, Mark is saying he can attest it is a very long walk. So if we accelerate down here with the drone camera, obviously it's going to stutter a little bit because we are putting huge demands on it to do this. But it just goes on and on and on and on. And then we get this place called the Shed Bar, and there's some sort of smart shop. I have no doubt that this is probably modelled to within an inch of its life to look exactly like the real place. It's very cool, isn't it? So we've got plants in the holders, people stood around everywhere. It's very clever. I can't imagine how much effort goes into making these things. Okay, so we've had a look through the terminal, or this terminal at least. Let's go and jump outside. And even all of the hardware outside, look, the quality of the jet bridges is very cool. Right, we saw earlier there's another building over here. So let's have a look at some of those. There's a cargo 747, a load of United planes. But we kind of expected that. So this looks like it's been modelled as well. Oh my word, it has as well. So again, we've got that problem with the delayed loading of the chairs. So hopefully a bit further down the terminal. Yeah, you can see it's just loaded them in. And the roof as well. So it's just the load on demand is not keeping up with us. So let's speed ourselves up a little bit. I'm sure you don't want to spend all day looking at the terminals. It's just interesting to see the level of effort that has gone into this. Is just stunning, really. And we've got another level here, look. So I'm guessing this is the way in, isn't it? And then once you've cleared through, you're allowed upstairs to the gates. Very, very cool. So what are the actual gate areas like? I wonder if the signage is different on all of them for the various airlines that operate here. That's Delta and Air France on both of those. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they've cut a few corners here and there to make it easier. Yeah, look, that does look like a bug then. When you get near the end of the terminal, the seats vanish. So, yeah, there we go, look, we can cause it to happen. Anyway. It's impressive, isn't it? And if we accelerate our way away from the airfield, we can see the wider scope and size of it. So there's actually a freeway junction that leads in towards the building down here. So I wonder if they've done the signage on the way in. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah, here it is, look. Very cool. It's all clever stuff, isn't it? I have no idea if I'm just looking at the live stream comments. I don't know if it's got a GSX profile. I don't actually have GSX. So it's a kind of a rabbit hole I've shied away from because it seems like a bottomless rabbit hole of trying to make people walk the right directions and going in and out of buses and stairs and... Anyway, so our aeroplane is parked over on the long terminal that we were stood next to a moment ago. And it was about halfway along, I believe. A321 should be parked over here. I think this is it. The little one in the middle of all the big jets. Yep, this is us. So we're going to go and press Shift and X to come back to our aeroplane in the normal view. And we're going to press backspace, and we are in the A321. I am going to be working through my own checklist that I've written up. I haven't put a link to it actually in the video notes, but hopefully it still stands up. I wrote this when the aircraft first came out for Flight Simulator. So we'll go and see what we need to do. I've already removed the chocks and the engine covers. So we're going to go overhead with Alt and 1. I'm going to go and turn on the batteries and the external power. Then we're going to go and put the strobes to auto. Sorry it's so dark, it's a dark day. I'll put the dome lights on too. Ooh, they haven't actually simulated the dome lights. Interesting. Nav and logo goes to 2. The APU master switch can go to on, and then give it a few seconds and then press start. We can go and put the crew oxygen supply on. There might just be a delay actually associated with the dome lights. I don't know. I'm not going to stress about it too much. Okay, we've done the oxygen supply, so emergency exits can go to armed. No smoking can go to auto. Then we can go and rotate each of the ADIR's knobs to nav to align the inertial reference system. So then we can come back down into the cockpit and we can set the brightnesses. They all look pretty bright actually, don't they, all the screens? So we don't actually need to meddle with them. So then on the tablet we're going to go and fetch our flight details from SimBrief. And there we go. So then we're going to go over to the payload page, and we're going to pull the payload from SimBrief. Those are our loads. So we're going to apply the load, do it instantly, which helps us enormously. And then we're going to go to the takeoff page, and we're going to sync again. So that's syncing it against the aircraft for the performance data. And populate the weight from the payload page. So we need to go over to payload and divide the weight by 1,000 basically. So live gross weight, so 74.2. We probably don't need to be that accurate, do we? So can we use our keyboard? 74.2. Yes, we can. Enter. Or do we just click away, or click calculate, I guess. And there we go, we've got our numbers. We can send those numbers to the FMGS. It'll be interesting to see if that works ahead of us putting anything else into the FMGS. In terms of the OFP, can we do that with this as well? No, I didn't expect we would. Anyway, let's stay on the script, shall we? So we're going to go and press Alt and 2, which is a custom key I've gone and set up that takes me over to the MCDU. So we're going to go and clear out any messages on here, because this is just any of the messages that came up while we were setting things up. We're going to go into the FMGC, and we're going to go to init, and we're going to do an init request. So that's pulled the information from SimBrief into the FMGC, into the MCDU. We haven't got the weights though, so we need to go and check across for them from... That's interesting. So if we go back to the tablet, so was it Shift and 5? Yes, it was. If we go and look in payload, can we send this to the... No, we can't send it directly to the tablet, so we're going to have to look it up and jump back and forth to do it. So we need to look up the zero fuel weight and the zero fuel weight centre of gravity. Let me just check that again. So Alt 2 brings us over here. We need zero fuel weight and the zero fuel weight centre of gravity. So zero fuel weight 67.7. And the centre of gravity 30.7, so 67.7 and 30.7. 67.7 and 30.7. We drop those in. Then we can do fuel planning, and it'll take a few seconds, and then it will fill the screen up with data. There we go, and we can confirm the block fuel. We can clear the message there. And that's the init done. Okay. So then we can go to the flight plan button, and we can go and confirm the rest of our details. So it's got the basic routing in from SimBrief, but it won't have done the departure or arrival. So let's go and have a look at our flight plan. Actually, we could do this in the browser, can't we? We can look at the summary of our operational flight plan. So we can see we're doing the HHOW4 SID, runway 03 left. So if we go and select the departure airport and go to departure, 03 left, and HHOW4. And do we have a transition, the Brock transition? Insert it. Okay, and then we'll go to KBuff and go to arrival. And coming into KBuff, we're just coming in. Now this is saying runway 23. That doesn't seem right. Three two, not 23. So this plan is wrong. I am going to edit the flight. I must have put it in wrong when we started it up. So I've transposed the numbers. I don't want to change anything else. We'll just regenerate with that data. Okay, so we want runway ILS32. That makes a lot more sense. And then we'll insert that into the flight plan. So we'll just have a quick look. We've got a discontinuity. Yeah, it's doubled that up. Look, I've seen it do this before on this version of the Airbus. It's not brilliant sometimes at figuring out where things match up. So they're saying this is all part of the SID. That's why it's got HR4 against it. Okay, so if we want to do like a gross flight plan check, we can just go and put this into plan mode. And we can step through. So if we press flight plan, it will go to the top of the list, and then we can push it through and watch the waypoints on the nav display as we scroll. It's a really short flight. So then it comes into runway 32, there we go. So that's all looking good. So we can put that back on arc mode. Okay, so having done that, we've got to do the performance data. So coming to performance, now this is the numbers that were sent across from the takeoff calculator. So we just need to confirm. Oh, it won't let us confirm them. Okay, this version of this Airbus, we have to rekey them. 128, 131, and 134. And then flaps, we need to go and look them up, I guess. So if we go, I'm going to have to remember the keys. Shift and 5 brings us back over here. Go to the takeoff calculator. So we want flaps 1 and 0.1 up on the trim. So Alt 2. I'm having to try and remember how to do all of this. 1/0.1 up, and then drop that into there. Flex temp was going to be 63. I will get better at this. Confirm the takeoff data. We can clear the message and go next phase, and we can look through and just make sure everything looks okay. And that's the approach data. We won't need that until we're in flight. So we've got the basics done, which is good. So we're going to go and set the barometric pressure on the altimeters. We can press comma to shortcut that, so it will do the standby as well as the main systems. We've just got cautions because we haven't started the engines yet. And we've got anti-ice detected, so it's pretty cold outside, as we have all seen on the news. I'm just looking through my list of instructions here. So shift 7 and 8 will give us both sides of the what's it called? FGCP, Flight Guidance Control Panel. So we need to go and set our controls basically, so for managed mode or not. So we're going to go and put the flight directors on, which will allow the managed modes to reappear, or to appear I should say. We're going to go and set our climb altitude. Was it 27,000 feet for cruise? Okay. And just looking through, everything else is fine. We can, yeah, flight directors are on, so we can put the seatbelt signs on. We can take the external power off because we've been using the APU for some time now, and we can go to clearance and see about pushback and start. So I'm going to go and load a document that I started writing. I'm hoping I've still got it. Yeah. So we're going to call clearance. I've started writing a guide to IFR communications in the simulator. So our first call using SayIntentions is going to be to clearance at Detroit. So you can see clear here. So we're going to tune into their frequency. And then we're going to say basically airport clearance, our type and call sign, our location, and information, our ATIS letter. So before we do anything then we'll go to ATIS. So I've tuned in ATIS and it should come up. Is it going to? I've noticed this doesn't always work.
TACT, you have information golf. Detroit
So
Metropolitan Wayne
we
County
are
Airport.
looking for
information golf.
19553
Yeah?
Zulu.
That's the important thing we need to know.
7. Visibility 10. Sky
So let's go
conditions.
back to
Broken at
clearance.
350.
So we're going to say Detroit clearance, Airbus Virtual 073 on parking, I don't know, our parking stand, information golf. Now it should disregard that I don't know and just come back to us anyway.
Virtual 073, Metro clearance, roger, you have information golf.
That's interesting. Why haven't they given me a call back with the rest of our information for our flight? So I will make the call back to them requesting clearance for our IFR flight as filed to Buffalo Niagara. Clearance Virtual 073 requesting IFR clearance as filed to Buffalo Niagara. So it just avoids us having to say everything. Because this should pick it up from SimBrief. Here we go.
Virtual 073, cleared to Buffalo Niagara via the HAL 4 departure, then is filed. Climb and maintain 7,000. Expect flight level 27010 minutes after departure. Departure on 118.905 squawk 1754.
So we need to go and put the squawk 1754 into the aeroplane. And we need to read that back as well, of course. Cleared to Buffalo Niagara via the HAL 4 departure, then as filed, climb and maintain 7,000, expect flight level 27010 minutes after departure, departure on 118.95, squawk 1754, Virtual 073. We should get a readback correct. There we go.
Virtual 073, read back correct. Ground will be on 132.725.
It's good, isn't it? Especially those, you know, it's artificially intelligent people. They don't actually exist, and they're flexible enough to take, you know, minor variations in your calls, and they'll still understand what you're saying, which I think is just stunning. Okay, so we are going to go to ground, but we need to put 7,000 feet in as our. Well, that probably agrees. We're not in a hurry to do this. Because we'll go to ground and ask for engines or push back an engine start in a moment. I'm just looking. Yeah, there's the restriction. Look, there's an asterisk next to 7,000. So what we'll do is just go straight for our climb to 27,000 on managed mode, and the Airbus should hit the restrictions.
Clear to Atlanta via Clavin 3 departure, then is filed. Climb and maintain 4,000. Expect flight level 390 10 minutes after departure.
So we're still on clearance at the moment, but we're going to go to ground now.
118.95, squawking 6557.
So you can see
Delta
it says
99,
ground will be
27
this. So we'll switch frequencies, and we can communicate with ground and request pushback and start. But we'll also, before we do that, go and pull up the airport map for our departure airport in Navigraph. because it will tell us the letters of all of the taxiways, which might be super useful. So let's go and make our call to ground, shall we? So we're already tuned into ground. So we're going to call ground, we're going to tell them who we are, and we're just requesting pushback and start. Ground virtual 073 requesting pushback and start.
Virtual 073, pushback and start approved, tail southwest.
Pushback and start approved, tail to the southwest, virtual 073. Okay, so let's see what happens in the sim. So if we look on here, I think this aircraft has, so we're here, so it wants the tail to go to the right. Okay, but the ground crew want the tail to go to the right. So we are going to go and find the ground controls. We are going to remove the chocks, remove the GPU, and then we're going to say push back aft, and the tail needs to go to the right. So I'm going to come off the parking brake as well. So we'll wait for it to start moving, and then I'll tell it to steer to the right in a moment. Now, is it going to work today? Yes. We want you to go right. It seems to have a mind of its own in 2024, which way it pushes the aircraft back. So we want the tail to go to the southwest, look. So you can see the aeroplane rotating there. So let's straighten that up for a moment. Push us out away from the terminal. Keep pressing the wrong buttons to make things happen. Obviously in the real world you'd be starting the engines at the same time, but because we're having to control this, I don't have octopus arms to press 50 buttons at once. So stop the pushback.
Detroit ground, United 510 is ready for pushing start.
United 510 Detroit ground, I'll have your clearance in just a second.
United 510
so
Detroit
we can
ground,
go start the engines.
Start approved. Call for taxi.
So APU bleed on.
Ground Delta 1085, holding short 9 left.
Turn the ignition system to start and start engine number 2, and you can see the N2s coming up. So we just sit and wait for that to fire up. Let's go and put the flaps to 1 while we're at it. So as soon as we get the engine running, the flaps should start moving as well. We'll go and put the predictive wind shear on, getting a little bit ahead of the game here. Put the ground spoilers to armed. We haven't done the squawk code yet, have we? So I need to go and remember how to do that. It's down here, look. So what was the squawk code they told us? 1754. Okay. TCAS is on standby at the moment. Can we change the mode here? We just want TA. Broadcasting our position. Although it hasn't actually enabled it. can never remember how that works on this version of the aeroplane. I'll have a look in a minute properly. Okay, so engine number 2 is up and running, and start engine number 1. We can go and put the taxi lights on now. I think this version of the aeroplane, does this one have messages where we can talk? But this is where we could have a bit of fun actually. So if we go and look at SayIntentions, you can, in the intercom, you can say, okay, we want to have cabin crew in the aircraft with us, and we'll go with Duncan. And we'll minimise that, and we can actually talk to the cabin crew.
Boarding has started, Captain, and the first passengers are aboard the plane.
I think he's a bit late. We've already pushed back.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome aboard this flight with Virtual Airline. My name is Duncan MacLeod, and I'm your lead flight attendant today.
I should have switched it on earlier, really, shouldn't I?
We kindly ask you to take your seats according to your boarding passes. Please stow your
Okay,
hands
so
under the
engine
overhead
is up and
bins
running.
or under the seats
We
in
can
front.
turn the ignition system
If you
off.
need any assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to our lovely crew members who are here to help.
We should have had the beacon light on as well when we started the engines. So I've left the script and immediately started missing things. Notice that the engines will actually pull fuel on their own.
Cabin is ready for departure, Captain.
That surprises me that we didn't get any warnings that we didn't
Ladies
have
and gentlemen,
the fuel
warm
pumps
welcome
on,
aboard this
or
flight
maybe
with
we
our
did.
Virtual Airline. We're delighted to have you with us today as we fly from Detroit to Buffalo. My name is Duncan MacLeod, and I'm your lead flight attendant. Joining me in the cabin are my wonderful colleagues, Fiona, Alistair, and Ewan.
This is crazy, I've not heard this
The captain
before.
for this flight is Jonathan, and our first officer is. We expect our flight time to be approximately 43 minutes, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey. Now let's go over some important safety information. First, please ensure your seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap. To unfasten, simply lift the buckle. In the unlikely event of a loss in cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop down from the panel above you. Pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen.
Honda 49 Echo Metro Ground, say again.
Secure it with
So
the
we can
elastic
turn
band.
the
Remember to
APU
put your
back
own
off.
mask on.
I'm just reading back through my checklist while he's doing this. So we start the engines, we're ready to taxi.
Remove the vest from its container. Place it over your head and pull the straps around your waist to secure.
So we can basically go and ask Graham now. I'll just wait for him to stop talking.
Blowing into the tubes. We have several
Shall we
emergency
shut him
exits
up?
on this Airbus A321, which are located at the front, middle, and rear of the cabin.
How do we shut him up?
Please take a moment to locate the nearest exit, which may be behind you. In case of an emergency,
So
follow
we
the
go
illuminated
into
exit signs.
intercom,
As we prepare for
and we just
departure,
go,
kindly
let's
ask
have
you to
our
stow your
co-pilot
carry-on
instead,
luggage
shall we?
in the overhead bins or under the seat in front of you. If you need any assistance, please don't
Oh, he's
hesitate
just
to
going to
ask
carry
one
on.
of our friendly crew members. Oh, and just a little heads up. After the meal
We'll wait for him
service,
to
we'll be
finish.
coming around with some delightful items from the virtual airline shop.
So I'm not
Thank
sure
you
if this
for your
version of the
attention.
airplane has a
Hope you have a
takeoff
pleasant
config
flight.
test button somewhere. I was expecting it to be over here if it was going to be anywhere, but... Oh, there it is. So we've done our takeoff config and it's fine. So we won't get any surprises. So let's go and look at the map of the airfield, and then we're going to call ground and request taxi. So what was our actual departure runway? 03 left, and we can find that ourselves on the map. So it's interesting they've got us to go with tail to the southwest. So 3 left's going to be there. It's 4 left. It's written on here, but it's become 3 left. Oh no, 3 left's over here. Sorry, I'm talking rubbish. 3 left is right here. So ground virtual 073 requesting taxi runway 3 left.
Virtual 073, taxi to runway 3 left via Uniform 9, Uniform Foxtrot Mike 1. Contact tower on 135.0 when ready for departure.
So just to read that back neatly, we can see the route, it's very easy. Taxi to runway 3 left via Uniform 9, Uniform Foxtrot Mike, Mike 1, contact tower 135.0 when ready for departure, virtual 073. So that's pretty straightforward. Look, we just carry on up here and then Uniform Foxtrot Mike down to the holding point. So we have permission. Off we go. Should we put head tracking on as well while we're at it? Oh, one of the key combinations makes this thing pull down. And I can never remember how to retract it. Oh, there we go. So this is Uniform 9 that we're going along at the moment. Wonder why the dome lights weren't working. It's a shame, isn't it?
Delta 1085, contact tower 135.0 when ready.
Negative, we just need to cross 9 left so that we can continue our taxi. Crossing 9 left, continuing taxi, Delta 1085.
So Ron is saying, I need to turn on the co-pilot flight director. Yes, I do. Good shout. This is why I have the crowd in the cockpit with me, because you'll pull me up for all of the things I miss. The trouble is, a lot of the mistakes I make are made because I'm busy talking and explaining and showing you things of interest, and it often causes me to miss things out or go off script, as I said earlier. So we're going to turn about 30 degrees. We're looking for Foxtrot. Is it marked? Presumably it's this one. You'd expect a Foxtrot marker on the signage, wouldn't you? Oh, there it is. If I actually looked. So then Foxtrot, and then the next right takes us onto Mike, and then we go down to the holding point. It's a bit bumpy along here, isn't it? So hopefully today's flight will be a bit safer, more stable, more predictable than the Phoenix flight we did the other night, where the MCDU decided to drop the entire route as we left the runway, which I've never seen it do before. I mean, luckily we survived it, but it did make me kick myself afterwards, because I tried to call an emergency to ATC, wondering if SayIntentions might handle it. I didn't think to call Mayday Mayday, which would have been far more interesting probably. So Mike 1, wasn't it? This is Mike 2 we're just coming up to. So they're wanting us to go right the way to the end. Don't think it's a very long runway, so they're trying to give us as much runway as possible, I guess.
Virtual 073, contact tower on 135.0.
Contact tower 135.0, virtual 073. So we'll just pull up at the holding point. And we'll cheat by, rather than tuning it in, we can just click on the frequency, and that will tune the comm radio in for us over to tower. So then we're going to make our departure announcement. So we're going to use the common pattern of who we are, where we are, what our intentions are. So normally doing this in the real world, you would go and tell them the where you're going, but also maybe the how for standard instrument departure from runway 03 left. So did we actually go and click on tower? Yes, we did. So tower virtual 073, holding point runway 3 left on the how for departure for the flight to Buffalo as filed.
Virtual 073, Metro Tower, runway 3 left, winds 335 at 7. RNAV wings cleared for takeoff.
Metro Tower, runway 3 left, winds 335 at 7. RNAV wings Zulu cleared for takeoff. Tower, Virtual 073, requesting confirmation of the HOW 4 standard instrument departure.
Virtual 073, the correct departure is the HOW 4. Please confirm the HOW 4 departure.
Confirm HOW 4 departure, Virtual 073. That was a bit odd, wasn't it? Now, has he actually given us permission to come onto the runway yet? Yeah, he's cleared us for takeoff straight away. With that bit of confusion, I didn't actually remember if we had been cleared. So we can go straight onto the runway and take off. We don't even have to wait. So he didn't say line up, he said take off. Yeah, just looking at Ashton Anders' comment there, saying he's just referring to the first waypoint. I just wanted to be absolutely certain, and it's kind of everything I do with SayIntentions at the moment is me trying it out and seeing if I can confirm things, which I thought was fantastic. So you can actually have that flowing conversation. Okay, let's just check through things, make sure we've got everything set as we should. I think we have, so we should just be able to go for it. So Toga. Keep an eye on the indicated airspeed ribbon and keep the aeroplane in the middle of the runway. That's always helpful. So we're just coming up to rotate marker. Whoa, it's wiggling around a little bit. The wind is... Look at that crosswind. Oh my word. So, gear up. And flaps up. I was a little bit early then on the flaps up, but we're okay.
Virtual 073, contact departure on 118.905.
Contacting departure 118.95, Virtual 073. That paused then, didn't it? Departures Virtual 073 with you, departing on the HOW 4. Departure climbing to 27, flight level 270.
Virtual 073, Detroit departure, radar contact, cleared direct playoff, climb and maintain flight level 200.
Climbing to 200, Virtual 073. So they're only giving us clearance to 200 to begin with, which is fine. That weather's interesting, isn't it? So we got a warning. It's the anti-ice warning, isn't it? So let's go and put the anti-ice system on. I mean, the probe heats are usually automatic, but we'll just be safe and safe rather than sorry.
Delta 411, Detroit departure, radar contact.
Detroit departure, Delta 411. Do you want us to clone?
Delta 411, say again your request.
Delta 411, do you want us to climb to a different altitude?
So we're making the first turn. Lovely view. We should break out the cloud pretty quickly. I think it's quite low cloud. Whoa, what's going on?
Stalls.
the simulator went wrong, didn't it? Whoa, look at that. So the simulator just crashed. So what I'm going to do is say Shift Z and do it again. And that's saved us. No, it's broken it again, look. This is the aeroplane. I'm sorry about this. So if we put it into slew and bring it out, we'll be flying again. Look at the speed. It's fine. We can get it back on track. So we're going to save the aeroplane. What is causing the beeping? How we have lost the... We've got managed mode back. We've got no heading bug turning up though on the navigation display. Autopilot off. T-custom. Is it just the autopilot that's causing it? Yeah. So 200, wasn't it? They cleared us up to. But obviously we're not going to be able to. Has it lost the content? No, it's got the content of this. So we'll have to do a direct to. So Alt 7. I have no idea what happened to the simulator then, but it had a absolute brain melt, didn't it? So MCART we should be heading for, which is here. So we're going to do a direct. Will it allow us to? Direct to MCART. Clear, clear. And then go managed. It won't go managed on the heading. Now why won't it?
Virtual 073, climb and maintain flight level 220.
Climbing 200, virtual 073. So I will have to go vertical speed mode for the moment then. What speed are we doing? 250 knots. So auto throttle's working. Well, it is now. But we don't have... Okay, let's do an open climb. Will it do an open climb? No, we have not got open climb either.
Detroit departure, Southwest 39er.
Yeah, airplane's completely broken.
To departure out of Detroit, runway 03 left.
Southwest 39er.
Oh no, yes, sorry. I forgot we hadn't turned the flight directors back on. Great shame. So we're doing open... Yeah, we got open climb back. Great. That is really odd. Can I even get one flight in this new simulator that goes smoothly? So let's go manage mode on heading. Oh, we've gone past the waypoint though, haven't we? So we need to go for the next waypoint. Where's the next waypoint on the route? Maltby. Direct. Maltby. Just having a think about it. That was really, really odd. So the aeroplane just went absolutely loony for a few moments. And this open climb isn't really getting a move on, is it? Although we're probably still following.
Climb and maintain flight level 230.
Was that for us? Yeah. Climb and maintain flight level 230073. We're climbing at 900 feet a minute. Why are we so slow? There's no spoilers out or anything, is there? That should be not armed anymore, though. Oh, we didn't put the landing lights on, by the way. Oh, we did. That is just bizarre. The entire plane went crazy, didn't it? The overspeed happened when the aeroplane went crazy. While we were in that cloud, it was when we were in the cloud, wasn't it? I wonder if it was like a freak weather condition inside the cloud, which I wouldn't put past it. It'd be interesting to watch it back afterwards and see exactly what happened, because it suddenly went to it jumped like 100 knots instantly, because we weren't even doing probably 230, 240. We were still accelerating out in the climb, weren't we? Well, I think we were. I'm guessing that something odd happened with the cloud. I wonder if we can... This is going to be a test of the internet.
Climb and maintain flight level 250.
Climb and maintain flight level 250, virtual 073. Why do they keep telling me when I haven't got to the previous flight level? Okay, I'm going to... Why is this being so rubbish at climbing?
And Spirit Wings would like direct Kobo. Direct Kobo. Spirit Wings 1454.
Spirit Wings 1454, turn left heading 005.
Get to YouTube, go to my channel.
Spirit Wings would like to get direct Cabo.
Can I see my own channel and rewind back to watch it? Oh, am I going to... I just want to cut his sound so it doesn't give me a copyright strike. So if we go back and then what can we see? So we were climbing. So look at the speed. Okay, so we were about to go into that heavy cloud. And we go into the cloud, and so we're not overspeeding. What were we looking at?
Virtual 073,
No, that was the
contact
recovery.
Cleveland Center on 134.775.
Contacting Cleveland Center 134.775, virtual 073. Cleveland Center, virtual 073 with you, climbing to 250.
Virtual 073, Cleveland Center identified. Good afternoon, Stony decimal QNH 30.30.
QNH 30.30, virtual 073. So we can go and switch this over to 3030.
Virtual 073, climb flight level 270.
Climb flight level 270, virtual 073. It is not happy, is it? Oh, it's favouring now. We've gone through 10,000 feet, accelerating rather than climbing. It's making a real mess of everything. Interesting. So let's increase the range on this. Why is it got such poor climb performance? Unless this is mandate. Oh, we're on the. Are we still stuck on constraints? We can show this, can't we? On the. Yeah, this has got constraints. No, there's no constraints. Is it just the aeroplane? Let's go for vertical speed mode then. And just get it to the altitude. It is almost on tick over. The auto throttle is not working. Look at that. Oh! The throttles aren't calibrated properly, look. It wasn't on climb. But that still doesn't explain what happened in the cloud. We now have the auto throttle working. So my physical throttles were calibrated correctly. These ones were not. Also, my physical throttles were on the climb descent. These ones were not. How strange. So that's a good question. Can we do this while we're in the air then? We need to. We're way beyond this now, aren't we? So let's. Where's the next waypoint? The Brock waypoint. So cancel that. Go. We're on our way to Brock. It's already doing it, so it's fine. That would explain why we had no power, why we weren't climbing. That all makes sense now. So open climb. We'll go manage speed mode. And it's going to get there very quickly. Oh my word. Now it's saying lever asymmetry. They're not in exactly the same position as each other, but they are working. So that could explain some of the things we saw earlier. So let's go and see if we can get the controls at least to be configured. This is going to be dangerous to do in the air. Yeah, look, they're just shy of climb. So reverse on axis is yes. Oh, this will be dangerous, wouldn't it? We'll do it and see what happens. See if we can do it really quickly. I'll have to keep revving them back up again. There we go. So we've got a disagree on the numbers now, which is causing all sorts of issues here, but we can clear the message. We're not really worried about their warning. And we're slowly getting the aeroplane back on track. And obviously we've gone through 18,000 feet now, so we can go to standard barometric pressure. I'm just going to go back now to this video and see what caused the crash. So that's just going to carry on along in cruise for a moment, isn't it? Look at that.
Virtual 073, contact Toronto Center on 135.625.
Contacting Toronto Center 135.625, virtual 073. Toronto Center, virtual 073 with you. Now let's see if we can get away with only saying that and see what it comes back with.
Virtual 073, Toronto Center identified. Good afternoon.
Center Mustang 297, you'll be giving me my vectors to intercept
I'm going to have another look at this.
runway 5, correct? Roger, expect vectors to intercept localizers.
We were in Toga, but
297. 297, just passing 16,800.
maybe it did overspeed. This is,
Mustang 297, descend and maintain 5,000.
I wonder if that was in Toga because of the throttle wasn't calibrated. So even though I had the throttles way back, they weren't in the... Yeah, it oversped. You're right. But that makes no sense because the throttle... although we have now discovered the throttle calibration was all over the place. So because this is what happens if you don't calibrate the throttles, ladies and gentlemen. So we can come back out of there. We know what caused it now. Hopefully the other end of the route will be a lot less difficult. But yeah, the reason for that is me not looking, just throwing the throttles onto their climb detent and not realizing that they weren't at that place. If I had looked around and looked at them, I'd have seen they weren't where they should be.
Virtual 073, Toronto Center, plan for descent in maybe 10 minutes.
Plan for descent in 10 minutes, Virtual 073. It's gone mad again, look. We got a sudden headwind, which has kicked it. And to defend against it, look, it's put it into a crazy climb. This plane is a piece of work, isn't it? It's kicked the autopilot off because of it. It is an absolute piece of work, it really is. So that's kicked the flight directors back off. So what happened there is we were near the limit. The weather changed, oversped the airframe. The airplane pitched up to try and slow itself down, and the autopilot kicked off. It's just like a fun fair ride, isn't it? So auto throttle goes back on, and that will take us back towards... We're still climbing. What is it doing? And it's still not pitching down. It's supposed to be doing an open descent to 270, look, and it's not pitching down. It's absolutely insane. And now it's doing it. After nearly stalling.
Echo Mike Oscar. Turn right heading 275.
Right turn 275, Echo Mike Oscar.
So that was all triggered by the wind changing, overspeeding the airframe a tiny amount. So it pitched the nose up. And cancelled the autopilot. And then switching it all back on, it took no notice of the open descent. I thought this was going to be a nice relaxing flight just across the US. We're going to have a job getting down in time now. I'm going to start the descent now, otherwise we'll never get down. So let's have a look on the...
Virtual 073, whenever you'd like, descend and maintain flight level 190.
Beginning descent to flight level 190, Virtual 073.
Virtual 073, descend and maintain flight level 190.
Descend and maintain flight level 190, virtual 073. Let's see if it will just behave for the rest of the flight, please. Please.
Virtual 073, descend and maintain 3500.
What? Ah. Descend and maintain 3500, virtual 073. So they're clearing us straight down
Virtual
for the approach.
073, contact Cleveland Center on 127.075.
Contacting Cleveland Center 127.075, virtual 073. Cleveland Center virtual 073 with you, descending 3500 feet.
Virtual 073 Cleveland Center, good afternoon.
Of course, we're now going to descend far too quickly. So let's get rid of the spoilers. Yeah, we're way below the profile now. So what I might do is hold that altitude. No, let's just let it come down, but a lot less steeply. So we're down to 18,000 feet. What I was just wondering about is just holding it above 10,000 feet for a while. I'm going to do that until we're back near the profile.
United 510 Cleveland Center, roger. United 510 Cleveland Center, descend and maintain flight level 100.
Descend and maintain flight level 100.
Because we've got quite a long way to go. Let's have a look on the map. Oh, lovely, some more storms. Yeah, we've got tons of room to get down to 3,500. So we don't want to be 3,500 feet for Wales, and then we should be. I think there's ILS this side of the airport. Let's go and have a look.
Virtual 073 Cleveland Center, contact approach on 126.5.
Contact approach 126.5, virtual 073. Cleveland approach, virtual 073 with you, descending to 3,500 feet on approach for Buffalo Niagara.
Virtual 073, good afternoon, Buffalo Niagara, altimeter 30.18. Expect the ILS runway 32 approach into Buffalo Niagara.
Altimeter 3018, expect the ILS runway 32 approach into Buffalo Niagara, virtual 073. So we want 30.18 for the ground. So what they're basically telling us there is the information. Let's go back over to performance. It's saying check destination data. So we've got some time. Let's go do it. So 3018 he's just told us. I wonder if this will expect oh no, it's fine. I just wondered if it was going to expect hectopascals being an Airbus, but There we go. What are we doing? Opening the airport and going to the weather section, and we're going to put in the temperature -4, blimey. So -4, and winds are 290, 16 degrees. 290, 16. And that should be fine. And the aeroplane's actually behaving now, better than it has done in some time. So when we turn at JHW, we'll start descending the rest of the way. So we're still way below the profile look to descend smoothly because of the histrionics earlier in the flight. Gavin's asking which ATC are you using. We're using SayIntentions, which has performed wonderfully. This Airbus hasn't. It's been very, very odd. I made a schoolboy error at the start of the flight, which we thought was the aeroplane going wrong, but it was actually the throttles weren't configured properly. Although I had pulled the throttles back, I had this happen actually with another aeroplane a couple of days ago, where I had moved the controls and the throttles hadn't moved. I had it happen when I pulled this away from the gate as well, but I didn't say anything at the time. The gear didn't release. I had to toggle the parking brakes, and I've got an axis set up for the left and right brakes. I had to recycle both of them to get the aeroplane moving. But it would appear that when I pulled the throttle back to the climb detent, which you do on the Airbus after initial climb out, it would appear it didn't react to it. So they stayed on toga and I didn't notice. And that blew the aeroplane to pieces in true flight sim fashion in the space of a few seconds. It's interesting, isn't it? You do learn a lot about the way the aeroplanes work when things go wrong. Unfortunately, you also learn how to thread the needle with an aeroplane that will go wrong, if that makes sense. Like I said, when I pulled away from the gate, I had to go and recycle several controls to get it to behave itself. We're just hanging on now at 12,000 feet because we dipped into overspeed again, which reset the autopilot again, which then caused the aeroplane to climb crazily because I didn't catch onto it quickly enough that it kicked off the flight directors as well. So it was taking no notice of altitude instruction. So it's been a comedy of errors, both from me and the aeroplane. It's been quite amusing, really.
Virtual 073, proceed direct Alma. Cleared for the ILS runway 32 approach.
Yeah, Elma is the next waypoint along the route. Proceed direct Elma, cleared for the ILS runway 32 approach, virtual 073. So having made this corner, we'll go 350 and go managed mode and see what it does. So do we get a green banana on this version? So when this all kicked off earlier, yeah, it cancelled the ice protection as well, and seeing as we're about to come down into this cloud, I think we're going to need it. So it's coming down. This is common behaviour with the Airbus. It's coming down at 1,000 feet a minute until it hits the profile.
FedEx 1296 Heavy, contact Cleveland Center on 118.625.
Cleveland Center, 118.625, FedEx 1296.
So I don't think I've got any other traffic simulated.
Approach Lufthansa 785, request flight level 220 when you're ready for us.
We were looking at this earlier, weren't we?
Lufthansa 785, climb and maintain flight level 220.
So we've got the TCAS mode, but how do you... I saw this the other day and I can't remember how to do it now. To get it to actually switch on. Anyway. We haven't got any other aircraft around, so we don't need to worry too much. Have they fixed the white screen bug in the PFDs? Well, yeah, the screens are working fine. The weakest link in this flight today has been me so far. The aeroplane has obviously thrown me some curveballs. If I'd been a bit sharper, I would have realised what it was doing, or what it hadn't got configured properly. Because this is the first time I've flown the A321, and I completely forgot to recalibrate the throttles. But again, we saw the weird switch bug that goes on with... I've actually seen it with several aeroplanes in Flight Sim 24, where you have to recycle switches to get it to realise what's going on. The most common one is the parking brake. I've also seen it happen with the gear lever, where I've put the gear down and nothing's happened. I've had to do it, lift it and put it down again, and then it reacted. But it is getting better. Yeah, so it's a really good comment there in the live stream. The aeroplane or the simulator is testing how aware I am. So the trouble is you start doubting everything and double checking everything, which is probably a really good thing. So we should see the profile come through fairly soon. We're only 30 miles out. And we've got to drop another 5,000 feet yet. We've dropped down to 250 knots, so the speed constraint has kicked in. I didn't see a decelerate marker on the navigation display. So that's a historic message from earlier. That's probably when we came through the 250 knot marker. So yeah, there was a decelerate look. That's again to come down to 250. Yeah, this is not showing us a live view, is it? From JHW to Wales. Yeah, well, that is correct, yes. Wales is the next waypoint. And along the way, it's just gone through the decelerate look. So we should see the profile fairly soon. Should we have a look outside?
Buffalo departure, 3 Kilo Foxtrot.
It looks pretty, doesn't it?
You climb 2,800.
So now we're down to 10,000 feet, we're going to put the landing lights back on. They shouldn't have been on.
Buffalo.
We never put the seatbelts on.
Duke November 723 Kilo Foxtrot, Buffalo approach radar contact.
Should we ask the cabin crew what everybody has thought
November
of the
723 Kilo
Funfair ride?
Foxtrot, Buffalo. Approach traffic at your 10 o'clock, 6 miles. At 3,500 feet, type unknown.
That's interesting, that's not minimising.
3 Kilo Foxtrot.
Should we ask the cabin crew how they're doing? How have the passengers enjoyed the ride so far?
I can't really say for sure, Jonathan. Let's focus on getting them safely to Buffalo.
Of course, I've got the co-pilot. I haven't got the cabin crew. Should we go and switch it over and put the cabin crew on instead of the co-pilot? So intercom, we want to have the cabin crew, and we'll go for Caroline. Okay, and minimize. How are the passengers enjoying the ride so far?
The passengers seem to be enjoying the ride quite well, Captain. Everyone is settled in and comfortable. No complaints so far.
Oh dear. So they didn't notice the climb to 34,000 feet or the plane exploding and being rebuilt around them. We have multiple characters we can choose from, by the way. We don't have to go with the professional ones. We could have a cabin crew who is an absolute, crazy person. So we got Janet and Toby, whoever they are. A Korean comedian. Mary Smith, funny, let's try this. Can you start preparing the cabin for landing, please?
Okay, Captain. Preparing the cabin for landing. Cabin crew, take seats for landing.
Let's go and check the approach. So, according to this, yeah, we've got ILS here, look. 10995, 318 degrees. Let's see if it's actually tuned it in. So if we go to radio navigation, 10995. But it doesn't appear on the chart we've got from Navigraph, so it obviously has another chart for this airport. So let's go and look at the charts and look at the approaches. And we want runway 32, don't we? So 32 ILS. So we'll pin that one. And let's have a look at that then, please. So
Buffalo approach Skylane 234 is with you at 4,000 feet over Grand Island, New York, with request for flight.
So we're on profile now on the managed descent, which is good. It's decelerating though away from the target, which is a bit odd.
42234 Buffalo departure, squawk 3131 and ident report altitude leaving and altitude climbing 2.
So I'm throwing the flaps out to the first
Buffalo
target.
Skylane 42234, squawking 3131. We are at 4,000 feet. We will remain at 4,000 feet. With a request for flight following again to KSGH Skylane 234.
Skylane 234 flight following is on request. Squawk 3131, then ident.
Okay, I'm lifting the flaps again. This is trying to accelerate again. It's a bit variable, isn't it, with chasing the airspeed. And it's gone down through 3,500 feet, which it shouldn't have, but it's levelling out now.
Virtual 073, contact Buffalo Niagara Tower on 120.5.
Contacting Buffalo Niagara Tower 120.5, virtual 073. Buffalo Niagara Tower, virtual 073 with you on final approach. Now I didn't tell them the runway, let's see what they say.
Virtual 073, Buffalo Niagara International Airport Tower, winds 280 at 15, gusting 24. Runway 32 cleared to land.
No, they put up with it. Winds 280 at 15, gusting 24. Runway 32 cleared to land. Virtual 073. We could just say copy winds. We don't have to read the winds back all the time. They're more interested that you've got the correct runway. So let's put this on landing system. We can still see where we are over here. So we're 10 miles out. If you look over here, we should be dropping to 2,300 feet though. You can see now the ILS has appeared. So we could go approach mode. Can turn on the second autopilot as well. It's gone Cat 3 dual straight away. So I'm going to stop our descent to make it capture the ILS, because we're descending faster than
Hotel, contact departure.
Yeah, we'll fly into it now.
Hotel, contact departure on 126.5. Cessna 7 Romeo Charlie, you're leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Roger, 7 Romeo Charlie, frequency change.
Cabin crew, prepare for landing.
Okay, Captain, cabin crew, take seats for landing. All right, everyone. We're preparing for landing now. So buckle up and make sure your seatbelts are fastened. It's gonna be a bumpy ride, eh?
So someone was just saying, if you press landing system, you get extra information apart from having the landing system screen on the navigation display. One of the nice things about the better aeroplanes in the simulator is you can have different things on each side of the cockpit. When you're in cruise on a longer flight, you can put progress information one side and flight plan the other, which is always quite useful to have. So after seeing the way one of the other planes whacked itself into the ground the other day, I'm going to take over in a moment and take this in ourselves. So should we do it now? So I'm going to take the autopilot and the auto throttle off. It's just giving us a warning because I've turned the autopilot off. I think I have to press the red button to make it shut up. So let's give the wings a waggle. So yeah, this is me. We got some lovely weather. So we're a little bit high. So does the ILS agree with the PAPI lights? I'm not sure that it does. Oh, maybe it does. Yeah, it does.
1,000.
So we're a little bit slow. It's on a knife edge with the throttle. That quite often happens, right? So we got some crosswind from the left. What's that telling us about? Doesn't like that I've only got TCAS on standby, I think. And it doesn't like that I'm flying it on manual throttle. So we just guide it down the ILS, so anyone who's never seen us done before, we're just chasing the diamonds and looking out the window, of course. And you've got the PAPI lights to reference as well, so 2 reds and 2 whites means you're not too high. Now I'm too high, look, 3 whites is too high.
300.
Come to Niagara, they said. It'll be beautiful, they said. I'll remove the weather once we've landed so we can have a look around. I'll put the drone camera out and have a look. It's good, isn't it?
$100.
American 1203, contact departure.
40.
Departure, American 1203.
30. 20.
Roger, going departure, Brigade 340.
Retard 10. Retard.
A bit of a thump, but better than the autopilot landing I saw it do the other day. So let's go reverse.
Virtual 073, welcome to Buffalo Niagara. Contact ground on 133.2.
I don't think the reverse has kicked in. Should we try it again from outside? No, they didn't. Interesting. So even though we've got throttle on axis, the reverses didn't happen. So we will come off at the next exit to the left, and then we'll tune ground. This blooming thing keeps appearing. There's obviously something mapped to it that makes it appear. Contacting ground 133.2 virtual 073. Buffalo Niagara ground virtual 073 just exited runway 32 requesting taxi to gate.
Virtual 073, taxi to gate 11 via Delta 2, Delta Echo, cross runway 05, then Alpha. Have a good day.
We'll have a look in a moment. Taxi to gate 11 via Delta 2, Delta Echo, cross runway 05, then Alpha. Have a good day. Okay, let's see if we can make sense of that on the map of the airport. And so Delta 2, Delta, cross 05, that's there. Then Alpha, so along here. Okay, so we go across runway 05, then turn right basically. So we come left if the simulator will come back to the front. There we go. There's a few focus issues with SayIntentions, I think. Looks very forbidding out there, doesn't it, with this weather? So that may be that. Remember, I said I haven't configured the aeroplane properly. I raced through configuring the engines, or the throttle, sorry, while we were in flight. It may be that it just needs some extra configuration to get the reversers to work. So I'm not going to say it's a bug yet. It's probably something I've missed, because I missed a lot of things with this flight. I'm almost tempted to fly back again to see if we can do it smoothly. See, now in the real world I should have stopped and then requested permission to cross the runway. So this is Alpha along here.
Mustang 297 is clear to the octave requesting taxi direction to parking spot 20.
Buffalo Niagara, ground taxi to parking spot 20 at your discretion. Have a good evening.
Roger. Cleared to parking spot 20 at my discretion. Having a good evening.
Did they actually tell us a gate number? No.
Tower Mustang 297. Holding short of runway 32. Awaiting takeoff instructions.
Okay, so we got various options, things we can do here. In the real world, they may fire up the APU on the way back, but if you know you're going to a gate that's got power, you would go to ground and you would get the GPU plugged in. And then overhead, you can switch over to using the external power. And then you can start playing games with it. So I can tell them I'm on the blocks. So Buffalo Niagara ground virtual 073 is on the blocks. Now will they give me an engine shutdown clearance? Let's see what happens.
Virtual 073, welcome to Buffalo Niagara.
No, they don't. So I think it's because they're still improving it, but I think, should we ask for, well, we shouldn't need to ask for clearance, but normally you'd expect some sort of, you know, flight plan closed type deal. Anyway, we can shut the engines down because we're on external power. Shall we say to the cabin crew, if we get the jet bridge, toggle jetway? So here it comes. Cabin crew, jetway is connecting to the aircraft.
Okay, Captain, cabin crew, prepare for boarding.
No, deboarding.
Oh, welcome aboard, everyone. We're just getting the jetway connected, so, just hang tight for a bit.
Please deboard the passengers. Oh, I love it when things go wrong.
Okay, Captain, I'll start the deboarding process.
They've only just got on though, because...
Dear passengers, we have reached our final parking position. Captain Jonathan and the cabin crew are now saying goodbye. We wish you a nice stay here in Buffalo, or safe ongoing travel.
Brilliant. So what I might do actually is, like we just said, oh, I promised I was going to go and have a look around, so we have arrived at... Let's slow the camera down. So this is Buffalo Niagara. I'm just trying to see if I can rotate the camera. It doesn't appear I can.
Ground Cessna November 2817 Echo. This type Cessna 182R requesting taxi.
So it's a bit snowy, isn't it?
VFR departing to the east.
We got quite cold on the way in, I think.
Cessna November 2817 Echo Buffalo Niagara ground Alpha. Contact tower on 120.5 when ready for departure.
What we're going to do...
Buffalo ground Cessna November 2817 Echo is clear of active. Requesting taxi.
Oh, we can reset the camera rotation. So we're going to change the weather so you get to actually see
Cessna
the
November
airport properly.
2817 Echo Buffalo Niagara ground taxi to signature flight via Alpha Charlie. Have a good day.
October, and we'll go for not live weather. We'll go for a few clouds in the sky, and we'll have a look around the airport to show you it. It's an impressive building, isn't it? So there's no people in this one, so it's probably a bit smoother because of it. Oh, there's a bit of a shortcut there. They haven't got the rest of that building modelled. but they've built this part of it, which is quite cool. So if we go out past the car parks, so it's probably a bit kinder to frame rate because it hasn't got all of those internal structures built properly. I wonder if the terminals are built then. I think I've been here before on a previous video, but we'll just go and fly past the terminals and go and have a look around. Or go past the gates, I mean, sorry. Yeah, so there's structures in here, but they're empty, devoid of people. And again, same the other side, look. But it is modelled, but it does mean it'll be a bit kinder on frame rate because there's not all those thousands of people everywhere. But the actual airfield is really nicely done, isn't it? So we've actually got 3D cars in the car parks. Should we go down and see what sort of quality they are? Is that a Porsche? No. It's a... I can't remember what that is. It's an American car, isn't it? Anyway. Shall we do the flight in reverse for a bit of fun? So this is just that I haven't got any special traffic running. This is just a simulator putting airplanes on the stands. This is the ground traffic. So I'm not running anything. That's why there's no air traffic around. We're hearing other people that are using SayIntentions, but they're obviously not appearing to us, and because they're probably on a different multiplayer server, or they haven't got or players or whatever, for whatever reason.
6 Alpha Bravo, contact tower on 120.5.
So what we'll do, we'll go to the main menu.
Ground, Brickyard 3416, ready for taxi.
We'll give the simulator half a chance at
Ground, Brickyard 3416, ready for taxi.
It's not even going to get to the main menu. Look, it's crashed the sim. I think this is a common problem with the Inibuilds aircraft. So if we go and tell Flight Sim to stop, and we'll just launch it back up again. And then that's just LittleNavMap having a complaint at us for doing what we're doing. So let's go and do the same flight in reverse. So create new flight, and we'll hopefully do it a bit more sensibly. So kbuff, oh no, airline first, VFA. We'll go for the same flight number. It doesn't really matter. Kbuff to KT, what was it? KDTW. And it's the A321N. That's picked the wrong one. No, A321N, there we go. And we'll just go with their flight plan, shall we? So they're doing a really simple one. So analyze. I wonder what they'll do when we get to the other end then, if they haven't got a SID. Let's see if we want to do something a bit better than what they've chosen. So, Dun 0, TP Gun 2. That's a really odd route, isn't it? So we go flight plan, route description. And what was this saying about, so runway 23 and 03 right? So we can get rid of the previous track. We're just having a look to see what it's suggesting. So it hasn't actually put a SID in. So if we go right click and show departure procedures for Niagara. So it's saying to take off runway 23. So there is a buff 8 SID. So we're going to go and mangle the route a little bit just to make it a bit more interesting. So then we've got, I guess they would give us vectors, wouldn't they? We'd probably fly out that way and come back in on runway. What runway did we say? 3 right. Okay. Oh, we're going into a different airport, aren't we? We're going in over here. 3 right. That's interesting that they were going to bring us in all the way over there. See, because this is doing the Top Gun 2-star. That's just bizarre. But why would they do that if they're going to bring us in on 3 right? So they're going to have to somehow vector from there to there. Sometimes the decisions SimBrief makes are very, very odd. Let's just go with it as advertised and see what it does. So we will clear this out and just go with what it suggested. So we'll say generate flight, and we'll take the SimBrief flight plan straight into the aeroplane. So let's go and start the simulator up. Free flight. Airbus A321 again. We're taking off this time from KBuff, which is Buffalo Niagara. And we're going to fly it in reverse, and we're just going to go with what SimBrief gives us and see what SayIntentions does with that. So we'll just pick a gate, any gate, set as departure, start flight, and maybe we'll go and have a look before we power the plane up at the controls and make sure that the throttles are correct. So we've got a bit more chance of having appropriate controls. It's going to be getting dark, isn't it? So we'll probably have bad weather and darkness to deal with, but that's not a big problem. So having learnt what we've learnt on the first flight, we got the wrong livery, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's getting dark. So ready to fly. I don't really mind the dark. Makes no difference really. So we need to go and do not our job to go and remove the covers. And then jump in and straighten up the head tracking and turn it off for the moment. Okay. So what we will do then, while we're sat here on the ground, is go and have a look overhead, put the batteries on, put the external power on at least. Let everything boot up. And we could put this on ahead of time, couldn't we? So we'll be aligned a bit quicker later on. We'll do the rest of it in a few minutes. So I just want to go and check then before we do anything. Let's go into options and open the throttle settings. Actually, before we do this, can we get the blooming dome lights to work? Oh, they are working. They're just feeble. So, max reverse, idle reverse, idle, climb, flex and toga. Reverse on axis, yes, and we can do that on individual throttles. So if we go and look over here, so I'm moving the throttles back and the throttles are going no further. There's a bug there, isn't there? Wonder who's done that. I've got a way around it though. So if I hold a button in to push to reverse, I can cause it to happen. Yeah, it's not ideal. I have to press forwards on my physical sticks, but we do have a way of causing reverse thrust. Okay. So, shift 5. We're going to hopefully... Actually, that is a bit bright, isn't it now? Those lights are super bright. Having not worked earlier, they're now working too much. So, going to go back into here, go and fetch the data from SimBrief. My word, even this screen's super bright as well, isn't it? This is from Buffalo Niagara back to Detroit. So we're going to go into payload, we're going to go to SimBrief and apply the load to the aeroplane instantly. So it's put the stuff in the aeroplane, go to the takeoff calculator, sync it. We need to put the payload live gross weight in, so 66 point... Why is that? Oh, it's doing a live fuel, I guess, even though we said instant. So we better wait for that. Oh, do we have to apply load instantly? Is this simulating loading passengers, maybe? It's still going up. Should we ask the cabin crew? Are the passengers still loading?
Yeah, Captain, they're still loading. It's a bit of a mess, eh? Just a heads up, folks, we're still loading passengers. If you could, just hang tight for a bit, that'd be great. Thanks.
That is so funny. Yeah, I'm going to change the time of day just for us to get the aeroplane up and running, because it's going to make it awful for you to be able to see anything. That's better, isn't it? So we've got the jetway connected, the passengers were coming back onto the aeroplane, the weight is still going up. We can get on with doing other things. So, I'm just getting my trusty checklist out. I'll follow it this time, hey. We've done the batteries on, we've gone to external power, we're going to go and put the strobes to auto, nav and logo to 2. We're going to put the master switch on for the APU and start the APU. We're going to go and turn on the crew supply. We're going to go and arm the emergency exit lights. We're going to turn the no smoking sign to auto. We've already done ADIRS, so we're ahead of the game with that. Then we can go over to the tablet. We've already done most of that already. So then we can go over to the flight computer, clear the messages, go to FMGC, go to init, do an init request. So that's pulled the flight in. We can then go to the flight plan button. Actually no, we go sideways in here first. and then we go and put the 0 fuel weights in, so we need to go and look that up on the tablet. So on the payload we've got 0 fuel weight 61.6, I'll say 61.6 and 29.8. Are we still loading though? That's the question. Wait for the planning to configure. Is that fuel on block still going up? No. Block confirm. Clear the message. Go to the flight plan, and we can. Should we do this from in front of it? Whoops. There we go. So K-Buff departure. Where's our sim brief plan? Runway 23, direct to Donio. So runway 23, nothing in here, and insert. Then if we, that will make a discontinuity because there's nothing in there. So we'll clear the discontinuity and go to KDTW, and we're coming in runway 3 right. TP gun 2 is the... Let's go and load it into LittleNavMap to have a little look. Open from SimBrief, download, create the flight plan, don't save what we've got. Yeah, the start is TP gun 2 with the Donio. Let's see what it looks like. So, 3 right, TP gun 2 and Donio. Oh, hello. This has gone wrong. The simulator's frozen. What's going on? Is it completely broken? I think we are stuck. That's a shame, isn't it? Yeah, look, it's not giving focus back to the simulator, which usually means the sim's bust. Oh well, there went our flight home. Well, we've done the flight one way and we've battled bugs all the way, and we've hit like a career. Oh no, it's almost coming back to life. No, it's not having it. The mouse isn't changing either, look, as you go over things. If I go to Task Manager, it's not even taxing the CPU, look, it's just frozen. Oh well, I'm going to call it then, because we've already done the one flight and battled through a forest of bugs. I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you enjoyed the histrionics along the way. And I'll see you again soon. That was good fun though. We saw all sorts, obviously we saw some bugs, we saw some misconfigurations, we saw some mistakes from me, but we also saw how to work around them and how to keep soldiering on, which was good fun. So we're saying, will there be any more tutorials anytime soon? What would you like tutorials of? I guess that's the real question, isn't it? That's a shame. I was quite looking forward to doing that. Tutorials for everything. I don't know. Wouldn't it be funny if, having shut everything down, it suddenly starts working? No. I don't know what I'll be doing next. I don't really plan too far ahead with the simulator. I guess we might go back. I was thinking about going back and doing some basic GA type exercises, like standard rate turns and things like that I haven't done for ages, like stalls, spins, and yeah, go right back to basics. Take a little GA plane out to Boonville or somewhere, you know, out over Northern California. Or yeah, we could go and do some of the more famous approaches, the difficult approaches like Paro or Lukla, or with the big jets. There's obviously always the now what's it called, the expressway runway 31 approach at LaGuardia, which is always great fun. It's the expressway runway 31 visual, I think it's called. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Obviously this has crashed, so I'm going to shut the computer down. Hopefully see you all again soon. Yeah, Kai-Tak is good as well. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. That was eventful, wasn't it? I'll see you all again soon.